You don't need to stick to a contract because you're my mother? Good luck with that. This happened roughly 5 years ago, just after I turned 18. My mother was running a small art supply shop in the small farming community I grew up in. She took this shop over after the original owners went bankrupt and sold it off. She was doing a pretty good job. Both of my parents are pretty business-minded and would make amazing business partners if they could stand being in the same room together longer than 30 minutes. Just making a few silly choices here and there, and she told us kids to help out quite often. Our visit during the Xmas holidays, I had just come up from my dad's to stay for about a month, and my mother had the amazing idea to teach the 3 kids, me, just turned 18, brother, 16, stepsister, 8, about having a real job and printed up contracts for us to become employers under her. For my brother and sister, they were not worth the paper they were written on as they were under 18. But because I was 18, it would have been legally binding. This wasn't her intention at all, but I wasn't willing to take the risk. So I filled it out with complete BS, putting my name down as Elvis, saying I had jail time, drawing a cat as my signature, etc. She went nuts at me. I was apparently being disrespectful and childish, and when I tried to explain myself, I was told to shut up and not talk back to her. The convo would go word for word. Mom, how could you do this? Why would you do something so stupid? Me, because I'm... Mom, shut up, I'm still talking. After this, it was dropped, and everyone carried on working like normal. Then I started to notice small and stupid things Mom would yell at the kids for. They come in from lunch 5 minutes late, they are in breach of contract. A friend comes in and talks to them for 2 minutes, they are in breach of contract. They want to go to the movies with a friend and have a proper holiday for a day, you're in breach of contract. This is when I decided to read the contract. I didn't before as I had no intention of signing it, and it was ridiculous. Pay was minimum wage, travel cost plus food cost, and came out to like $5 New Zealand a week. No days off unless you were seriously sick. 30-minute lunch break in an 8-hour day. No personal communication during work hours. No food or drink while working. Arriving late and leaving early would be penalized, and these were the worst ones I can remember. I decided this was total BS, and I needed to teach her something. So, using my limited legal knowledge from my IT degree, I rewrote the contract. Min wage with travel reimbursed. Paid day off for something as little as a cold. 1-hour lunch break. Personal conversation allowed as long as I'm working at the same time. Leaving and arriving 20 minutes late or early caused no penalty. Also, due to my IT qualifications, any hour I do any IT-related work gained double pay, even if it was just for 5 minutes. Contract became void after 2 weeks. I was due to go home in 3. I took this new contract to my mom at the end of the week. Me, Mom, I'm sorry for being a pain about the contract, so I read through it, corrected some mistakes I could see, and signed it for you. Mom, oh, thank you. I'll get that signed immediately, and it will start on Monday. To my brother and sister, see, this is good to learn. I purposely left some mistakes for you to find, but neither of you read your contracts. Always read your contract carefully. Sure enough, she signed it without reading it, gave me a copy, and I was employed for a few weeks. When it came about time to hand in our hours and get paid, my brother and sister went first, got their $5 and were happy. When my turn came, I handed over a notebook with my detailed notes on every task I did, how long it took, and at the end, a bill for about $300. I had done a lot of IT work and overtime to fix her work computer, and handed my $5. Me, this looks a bit light. Mom, no, you get $5, because she goes through the rundown of old contracts billing. Me, yes, but that's their contract, not mine. Check the notebook and contract. Mom checks notebook, getting gradually more pissed off. I am not paying you for this. This is ridiculous. Me, but you signed the contract. You agreed to it. Hands her a copy of the signed contract. She reads the contract, then refuses to pay it, as she is my mother and this is stupid, and rips it up. Then leaving with my siblings, leaving me to make my own way home. Since I've rambled on for a bit, I'll make the next bit short. I got a ride home in a cop car. I asked a favor at the station since I wanted my mother to learn a lesson, but I didn't want to go to court or anything. She was told that the law is on my side. Me and my mother are both over 18 and the contract is legally binding. She can either pay me the $300 or I can take her to court over refusing to pay an employee. I got the $300. We didn't speak for over a year. My dad and Nana laughed with me when I told them. Moral of the story, always read a contract before signing it. Edit. A few things I probably should mention, but didn't cross my mind when I wrote it. The cop I got a ride home with was a good friend's dad. I didn't go to the station and complain, just asked for a ride and a scare for my mother. My mother is extremely two-faced. If you only know her through her work, then she acts like your best friend. If you know her personally, you know she's a real work of art. So going by good old Papa Google, if you got paid $5 New Zealand today, that would translate to $3.21 USD. So basically what you're telling me is these kids got paid about $3 for a week's worth of work. Yeah, that sounds fair. You can't use the company TV for your Switch. Sounds good to me. This will probably get lost in new, but I thought I'd share what felt like a solid victory today. I work for a pretty well-known home improvement store, and we have a break room in the back with a TV for us to watch programs and sitcoms on our break. On this particular day, no one was using the TV. It was turned off, and everyone was on their phones, so I thought there was no harm in plugging in my Switch and sharing the fun of letting people have a go at it. While I'm watching people play, my supervisor walks in and sees the setup. She informs me that this is the company's TV, so you can't use it for personal entertainment. Big bummer, since people were having fun. But I can't lose my job, so I pack up my Switch. That day on my way home from work, I passed by a house that has a massive honkin' old school CRT TV out front that they're giving away for free. It's bigger than the TV that we have at my job, and it still works. The next day, I haul this massive TV out of my car and into the break room. I get a few odd looks, but I don't care. Too focused on complying with the rules. I plug this sucker into the wall, right underneath our company TV, now tiny in comparison to the CRT, and hook up my Switch to it for people to play. Supervisor walks in and sees people playing on a bigger monitor. I'm not using the company TV, but I am using an even bigger personal TV. People are playing the Switch and having a good time. She tries to say something about how I'm blocking the view or causing disruptions in the break room, but the other TV is turned off anyways, and people are watching intensely as two coworkers are racing around in Mario Kart. So I don't really think it was that big of a deal. Not really sure if I'm gonna get a strike for this or not, but it'll be worth it if I do. And I think I might be able to argue that I followed the rules. Part of me expects that this TV will mysteriously disappear and that we will have no footage of who might have taken it, which will be funny since it's so big, but it's the thought that counts. Just a little piece of friendly fun advice. They do sell some pretty cheap cameras online on Amazon for like under 20 bucks. You know, just to keep an eye on your TV. Though that is probably against the rules, but whatever. Alrighty guys, I hope you enjoyed the stories. And if you did and you're new around here, maybe consider subscribing. And if you really liked it, then maybe give it a thumbs up and a share. Anyways, I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.